Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Get Reelisms. We have another guest today, but I am Adam Chase Rennie, and with me,
Christine Chen. Sorry, I totally forgot. You think that after like how many episodes is this?
27.
27.
This is 27.
I would know my cue, but apparently not really.
Yeah, you have a timing of a really bad connected Zoom call.
Christine Chen.
Christine, who do we have with us today?
We have my mentee, Shaylah Conley.
Hello. Glad to be here.
Yes. So I really wanted to invite Shaylah because Shaylah just experienced her first film set. Real. I mean, she's done her own stuff, but doing your own stuff is very different from having like a full-on feature film set.
Yes.
So.
Yeah. I mean, and I wanted to dive right into like your first experience because so you can choose one or two ways. My first, we could talk about our first encounter with Christine.
Oh, God.
Okay.
Because I could tell you my first encounter with Christine. But I'm curious what your set experience was like overall, like in a couple of sentences. What have you taken?
Yeah, totally. I would like that, and I want to kind of dissect it. So summarize your set experience in a few sentences.
A working machine that, due to specific people, needs to be oiled in order to function very well.
Okay.
That's beautifully put.
Okay.
Beautifully put.
Yes.
And definitely with Christine being like the AD, the assistant director, it definitely is like she is the conductor of this machine. And all of her little PAs, her production assistants, which that's what I was a production assistant. We are definitely the ones like running around making sure that the fire doesn't spread and that everywhere that's creaky gets some oil and making sure that the coals are in the fire so that we can just keep steaming forward.
That's great. That's a great analogy. I like that. Yeah. That should be our title for a podcast, like the machine or something, oiling the machine.
Yes, oiling the machine for sure.
But for some reason, Christine is not only just the conductor, though, right? She's the engineer. She works the chimney. She's the shovel. She's doing everything. She's hauling the coal into the furnace. Like she's doing it all. Like she couldn't. And please chime in if you can, Shaylah. She has to wear more than one hat at all times. Oh yeah. Like it's impossible for her to just focus on one thing. Like even in her personal life. We're
talking about just Christine, right? Not just Christine AD, right?
At 24/7. That's just Christine. That's just her her attitude, which is awesome. I mean, I wish I had that. It's really out of jealousy. When I poke fun at it, it's merely out of jealousy because I'm such a one-track mind. I'm a boy. I can't help it. So I have to focus on one thing and I want to do it right and then move on. Christine is like, no, I got to do like X, Y, and Z with my left hand and elemental with my right. And I'm gonna do everything I possibly can. And it's like, Christine, do you need help? And she's no, I'm good. I'm good.
Yes.
Or if she does need help, she's like,
right.
Asking for help is like it's like a sin for her.
I'm trying to get better about it. I'm really trying to get better.
But I mean, I'm just saying, like, it's funny because you'll be like Rachel Ray and you'll hold like 30 different things and you'll help like 10 different people, and it's like, Christine, aren't you doing that one other thing, and you're like, yeah, but then art department needed this, and I have to help them out with this, and it's like, listen, like, why don't you let me help? Because us PAs, we just look like just a bunch of fools just standing around when Christine is literally doing everything. But that's what kind of teaches you on the fly, like especially on the film set. Like you sort of learn to adapt with Christine, because when she sees a problem that arises, she just jumps right in it. And that's the biggest thing I learned on a film set, especially working with her, is like to not necessarily like look around to make sure, like, oh, should I do this? Should I ask so and so? Should I ask him, her? Just jump in. If they need help, jump in. Especially on an independent film set, it's different. I say that, but it's different on a professional, like high budget film set. I'd assume. I haven't been on many of those, actually none, but I assume that it's sort of the opposite. However, like when you're on an independent film set, like Christine is just like understands, like, if I don't know, it's like a social cue in a way. But we talked about it last week. Like you have to read the room, right?
Yeah, read the room. It's a get shit done. Like there's I mean, technically, I mean, I've been on independent sets that are very much like, don't touch my stuff, you know, too. So it's a definitely a read the room type thing. I
think you can't just jump in to help the lighting department.
Yeah, and I mean, there's time for everything, because there were times on this set that like camera would be like, hey, like please let me know if you're gonna touch my stuff, because I like can't find it anymore, you know.
Right.
So it's read the room. It's just communication and having good communication. But like I think in the end, it's just like we just want to get shit done. However that comes to, I mean, the director I have so much respect for the director, Ben Jagger. He was very much like me, where it was like, if something needs to get done and he sees how he's going to need it, he'll jump right in and just start moving shit and, you know, helping out. And that's the spirit that I've always had on this film set, and I believe in. But I know that there are sets where it's very much like, this is my department, don't touch my stuff. Like it's, and I understand the need for that, because once you get into like a giant film set, if people are moving things without asking permission or breaking things, or, you know, there's a reason for departments, and I understand, you know, but yes, read the room is exactly the model. Read the room for sure.
Yeah.
Because not everybody can ask for help. It's not like Christine is the only person on this planet who doesn't ask for help. I don't ask for help. I'm terrible with it too. So I'm just as much guilty. But I'm curious with you though, Shaylah, if you gotten a huge takeaway from your first set? So like,
of course.
Or what's your takeaway?
Well, like Christine said, I have done other projects on my own, but they were skeleton crew in the sense of it was just my sister and I. And so the two of us had literally every production hat on our head and our actors. And so being able to see on a set of, oh, wow, that person is really important. Oh, wow, that person is really important. Oh, my gosh, oh, wow. Like just seeing all of that, that was the best part, because to me, I have always seen it as, even with plays, because that's my biggest background is theater, and that's what translated into making film. And I've always seen it as the director has a vision and everyone else are helping the director create that vision. So specifically from the film that we did, you know, Ben Jagger, our director, he had a vision. And then our DP, our director of photography, his main item or task was camera. And with that camera, he helped Ben's idea come to life. And then with our set, they created the scene and the props that brought his vision to life. And like for Christine, having the schedule, getting the actors where they needed to be so that they were ready to go to Ben, who then Ben would direct them to create his vision. So I loved being able to like see the art of that. Like, I think that is an art in itself, that, I think we had like 35, a little bit less than 35 people.
It was like 30, I think 38 maybe, actually. Because, okay, how many walkies there were? There were 30, there
35.
were 30, there were 36, no, there were 30, you're right, the 35 walkies. So we always, you're right, a little less than 35. Because the producers never carried walkies, so.
Yeah, and that's still a lot of people. Like 35 people to me, that's a lot of people. 35 people all coming together to create one project and seeing how harmonious everyone was together, just filling in the different puzzle pieces that they represented was the masterpiece. That was the best experience for me, is to see how different people come together using their own unique skill sets.
Yeah. And I keep telling Shaylah, like, what she walked onto was probably the perfect film set for our first time experience, because not all film sets are like that at all. This was this was a film set where I kid you not, every single person liked each other. That is so rare. Usually it's like you hate one department. That's really rare. Or you hate like several departments, or you like only two people off the set. But this one for sure was every single person grips were hanging. We were all hanging out. Like, that's usually the grips like go to Superior and have their own safety meeting. But like this one was every single person liked each other, enjoyed, like respected each other. And when you have a dynamic like that, and then you have weird hours, like several overnights, you are expecting major raging. Like at some point. And we did. And we did. Yeah. And we raged, and we made a lot of poor decisions, and it was great. It was super fun, and we got even closer because of those poor decisions. And that's just something that you don't get on a lot of film sets, and so it was very cool to have you have that as your first experience. I'm interested in knowing, like, when you went into it, what were things that you thought would happen that didn't happen? Or what were things that you were not
expectations versus reality?
Yes, expectations versus reality. Go.
Okay, so right off the bat, for sure, something that took me by surprise was how welcoming and friendly everyone was to everyone. Like, it wasn't like, it wasn't like, I've made 5 feature film movies and 2 of them are on Netflix, like, I don't have time for you.
Shut up. None of that.
There was none of that. Like, everyone was, especially for me as a student, whenever I felt comfortable enough to go talk to someone and ask them questions, because I've never seen 99% of this equipment and I don't know how any of it functions, and I'm just all curious. And I would go and I would talk to someone, and they would just openly and welcomely answer all of my questions, talk to me about whatever I wanted to talk to them about. And I wasn't afraid of going and talking to, for example, like Ben. Like, in the end, because like we got to hang out after, it was able to allow people to kind of like break down those barriers of, ooh, that's a director, I'm gonna avoid him. Because then, I would be able to go talk to him, or I would be able to go talk to our DP. And it was so great to talk to these men who, create art for their life. And that's what I want to do, is create art for my life. And so that was something that I was so grateful for, was that I felt like I could go talk to anyone on any level about whatever we wanted to chat about. And that was really great, was to feel like people were very welcoming and humble about coming together for this project.
Which I'm glad you had that experience, because that is a rare experience.
Rare.
That doesn't happen all the time. Adam can tell you, some of the first bigger sets he's been on, you like don't ever get to talk to the DP or the director.
Yeah.
I will literally water. Like, sometimes, because Christine knows I'm a silly dude. I like to poke fun, and I like to especially have fun on a film set. I'm very much a 5-year-old for sure, and and my sense of humor hasn't gone past age of 15. So when I'm on a film set, especially if I want to shoot the shit, like most departments, I will say, are really cool about whatever.
Yeah.
You know, especially like if you're, because I usually work in the art department and I'm usually within an earshot with the lighting department. So sometimes I would chum it up with them, or I would talk with hair and makeup, wardrobe, whoever. Sometimes sometimes the DPs, and sometimes the directors, but that's very far and few between. Because there are definitely DPs who just want, and you can't take it personally either. I did at one point, because I'm like, fuck is this guy all about? Like, I'm just trying to chum it up with him, and he's just being an asshole. Like, what did I do? And you quickly realize, like, oh, they're in their own world. Like, you just really can't bother them, and they're just unfazed. So if you do make a joke, it's not personal. They're just already like on a different planet, you know, sort of speak. But I've my first experience on a film set though with Christine as a
what was your first film set? I forgot.
Writer's block.
Oh gosh.
So we talked about it, and I'm going to repeat myself, ladies and gentlemen. So it is what it is, okay? I was a PA on Writer's Block, and Christine was first AD. Right?
Yes.
Yeah. She was first. She was first AD. Because I see Christine's face, and the memories are flowing back to her, and she really hates it. But I'm gonna give you the cliff notes of it, so Christine won't be traumatized and triggered.
We gotta make it. We have to name it something else.
Okay, Block Writer. So, anyways, I'm kidding. Yeah, we'll bleep it. So that was my first set. I was a PA on that set, and so we don't get into specifics, but Christine had a different experience than I did. I had the time of my life. It was the best, still to this day, one of the best sets I've been on, and I've only been in this industry for it would have been 3, but I count this year as a shot year. So 2 years I've been in the film industry. And that is still my very most fun set I've worked on. I met the coolest people between, of course, Christine taking me on, and Kelly with Alex, the DP, Walker. I met Burnsy. I met Robert Burns Jr., the DIT, who's a really good buddy of mine now. I talk to him almost every day. And like I made, like you said, the passion that everyone had in each department, the cogs and the giant wheel that is the set, was all working simultaneously. And there's nothing more awesome than seeing that. Like, people won't really understand it until they're on a set. And even sometimes on a set, they'll see it and they're like, okay, who cares? You know? It sucks. But for people like you and I, Shaylah, and Christine for that matter, we all feed off of that passion. We all thrive in it, you know? When we see everything all come to life and all of us just shoot the shit, it's like summer camp. It's a joke, but it is exactly like summer camp. You're spending it with the coolest people who accept you for who you are, and you're working together for an X amount of time, and you're going to create there's people, Shaylah, who I didn't like in the beginning of the set. Like, I actually really didn't like. And I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to become friends with this guy at all. And then sure enough, by like day 10, I'm chumming it up with them. I am talking to them. We're having a blast. And it's great. Sometimes you have those unexpected moments that make the film industry that we work in that much more pure, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely could tell that well, first of all, that everyone got each other through our very long shifts.
Oh my gosh,
If
13, 14
we
hours, dude, you know?
yeah, some 15. And
15? Yeah.
if we didn't have each other, or if we didn't have the dynamic and just like that perfect mix and match of everyone,
Yeah.
things could have gone sour faster. And then the other thing, I did also notice that there was kind of like, it's almost like the production phase kind of had its own like arc. Like it had act one where everyone didn't really know each other. We all were kind of like feeling it out, seeing like, okay, you're cool. Okay, oh, we can
Yeah.
vibe. And then by act two, whenever you like start to come up to your climax, everyone just loved each other, and everyone was just like, hey, I need this. Hey, I need that. Yeah, I got you. Okay, copy. Yeah, I'm gonna go get that. You need some water? Okay, I'll be right back. Like it was so great, and just like the flow, and it was like everyone kind of got into this rhythm with each other. And especially for like a PA, you could tell when there was this rhythm of, okay, I'm gonna jump in real quick and see if anyone needs anything to drink. Okay, I'm gonna jump out and wait. Oh, I see that set's busy. Hey, do you need help putting up this wall? All right, I got you. And
Oh
then
man, yeah.
and then
Yeah.
by the time it got to act three, you could tell that everyone was like, we're in the home run, like let's keep going, we're almost there. And then whenever we got to the end, you could just feel that we were all so happy to finish, but so sad to finish. And like we were happy to kind of, like have that last wrap, but afterwards it was just an outpour. Like everyone I talked to, everyone talking to each other. If you were at the wrap party, I kid you not, you could go stand next to any person who was there, and all you would hear is someone telling someone else how wonderful they were. That's
Yeah.
all we were doing at the wrap party, is everyone was literally taking turns with each other, telling each other how wonderful they were, how great it was to work with them, how they appreciate their art and what they do and what they bring to the table. And so it was just like this awesome, just like happy ending to the production of our movie.
Yeah, as like I said, this is a rare experience.
Yeah,
very rare.
Not
so
always like
grateful.
that. But I mean, I was chatting very briefly with Joel Froome today, the DP. He's like, because he's at the El Dorado Film Festival right now in Arkansas.
Oh,
and
cool.
He texted me just a video of our mutual friend, and he said he's feeling so sad right now because he's in leave for New York tomorrow, back home, and he's like, he almost had a moment where he thought about renting a car and driving down to Austin to find like all the people who came from Austin, like Carly, and then and he's like, he's definitely gonna cry when he gets on the plane tomorrow. And I had that moment today. I was just feeling just really sad, just missing everybody, missing like, oh, the hustle and bustle of everything, the creativity, I had breakfast with Ben, the director, and Eric Gibson, the line producer. We just all sat and just looked at each other like, we're so sad.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is a hard one. This is a very hard one. We all have separation anxiety.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like, I'm so glad he had that kind of experience, because this is, when you have that experience, it's like, it's unlike, I'm sure it's like people going to war together, going through ups and downs and the worst. You see each other at the worst of us, like everybody's had breaking points. Everybody's been stressed out of their minds, tired out of their minds. And you see each other at our worst, yet can come out of that being more connected, more intimate, more in love with each other than you would with knowing some of your friends, for years. It's quite an incredible experience, and a strange one, because then, some of these people, I hope not, but you may never see them for years. And that's pretty sad to think of it that way. Yeah.
It is, unless you're Christine Chen that just moves on to a completely different job right after that and goes on 13 different sets. I just see her on Instagram. It's like, well, another film set. It's like, wow, this lady knows how to move on.
No, I may be on a different set, but it doesn't mean I've
no, that you moved. Yeah. I know what you mean. I do. No, I do. Yeah. No.
Yeah. It could be stuck hung up on somebody. Yeah.
Yeah, but it is but there is some sort of truth to that though, you know, like you just got to keep working, you know, and sometimes you are gonna, I mean, I don't want to guarantee it, but there are gonna be sets where you're gonna want to pull your hair out at some point, you know. There's gonna be times where it's just like, I don't know if I made the right decision. I've had many of those. But then I just realized I always bounce back from that though. Yeah. And quickly realize, especially all it takes is the wrap party, right? All it takes is like the end of the set when you're on your very last day on a feature. You know, it's sort of different for a short. Well, no, it's sort of the same.
It's very different, honestly. I mean, that process is the same, but like 3 days versus 18 days, like one's a short-term relationship, one's a long-term.
Well, I mean, I don't know, because like when I helped out Christine in Shreveport, what was it, a year ago? Yeah, like I thought I was ready for another 2 weeks in Shreveport. Let's fucking do this, Christine. Call me up. Let's do it.
Yeah, but I broke up with you.
You did, and you were like, he can go fuck himself. He's getting fatter, and he's honestly slow, and you know, he's moved on to bigger and better things like video games and how to make margarita pizza.
But yeah,
I understand, Christine.
Yeah, I'm just. Is there, now having gone through this, is there stuff that you would have told yourself, your ignorant self, like what you wish you'd known, or
good question.
If you were to tell another newbie PA, like what are some suggestions or some advice you would want to offer them, or you wish I had offered you before throwing you into the deep
end?
Yeah, you got any shit to talk about to Christine now that she's on the show? Now that you're on the show?
No.
I'm kidding.
Honestly, I guess the advice that you kind of give to yourself in life is to be nice to everybody, because you don't know what role they play in your future.
Yes.
And because, you know, that's something that happens in the film industry. And, you know, that's what mostly happened in this production for like our PAs and our second AD, is that Christine called us on, you know, asked us to come. And so if those people hadn't known her and hadn't given her a good impression of themselves, or hadn't shown that they are a good person to have on a set when you know you need to achieve certain things, that's what I would say. And everyone, like, even if I will never ever touch a light because I never want to be a genie, that doesn't mean that I shouldn't be helpful to them when I'm on set. That doesn't mean that I shouldn't be nice to them, chat with them, be friendly with them, because I don't know who they know. And I don't know, you know, when they're paying attention or when they are looking out for people. And so what if they are on a project and they're like, oh man, our key PA fell through. What do we do? And then this genie comes forward and says, oh, hey, there was this girl who was on a set that I was just on, and she was great. I watched her. She was respectful. She was nice to me, et cetera, et cetera. The list goes on. And now, because of my good attitude and because of how I treated someone, even though I don't have an interest in their particular field, I have made an impact that is going to make a difference in my future.
Exactly. You said it very, very well. That is exactly how it is on a film set. People are always going to remember the way you made them feel. They may forget everything else. They may, despite how shitty the film set is, how terrible the food, the long hours, they'll forget all that, but they will always remember the way you made them feel. And that carries for the rest of their life until you alter it in some other way, and you just never know when it's gonna. And I have so many examples of, this set, for example, I was connected to it because the same production company did another film a year ago, and I was the locations manager on it. I actually did locations, and I also was the GIT.
Okay.
And
Jesus Christ,
how the hell did I end up being the AD on this one?
That is right?
Yeah. So
that's like being the sous chef and the janitor in the restaurant. Yeah. Like that's weird. That's so strange.
It's very, very, very different. And one of my really good friends that was on the set, Camille, who jumped.
Shout out, Camille.
Camille. Yeah. So I knew her because she was the makeup artist on a different film that I was the AD on. I think 2 years later, out of the blue, contacted me, and then we ended up co-directing together. But that was our only interaction, was because I was the AD on the other film. And then when our wardrobe person fell through on this film, who was the first person I thought of? I thought of Camille, and so she was on the project. It's always like this. It's people are going to remember the ones that made you feel good, that busted their butts for whatever role. And that's why I always say, like, if you're going to take a role, you better take it and do it the best you can, no matter what that role is. Like if I get, and that's what I'm saying, if I get offered a PA job and like it makes sense for me to PA for that, to get in, to meet certain people or whatever, I will do the best job I can, I never understand people who like take jobs and think it's beneath them and then treat it that way, because you are your work ethic, you are the way you treat people, and people remember that.
Yeah, especially there's 100 other motherfuckers who want that job too.
Yeah.
That's wild, because anybody would want to have that job, and like some assholes just like, didn't want to do this job, it's beneath them. It's just like you literally just put a sour taste in the entire set's mouth, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you don't look good saying that.
Yeah, be grateful. It's a privilege to do what we do to make movies. So be grateful for any job on a film set,
Yeah.
And like I can't stress that enough. And be grateful to the person who brings you on, because I heard that so many people wanted to be on our film set that were rejected, and so it's hard to get on to things like this. And so take advantage of it, meet people, and be grateful for the people who bring you on, and return the favor.
Definitely meet good people, though. Yes. Don't meet people that are just going to be a complete dead end to you. I have a couple of those people, and I'm just weeding them out of my life.
Yeah.
But it's always those lessons learned. You get on those sets and you're like, shit.
Yeah.
I shouldn't have done it. But oh well. It's one of those like, and I don't grow resentful of that either. It's just like I've definitely been on those sets where it's like, man, I could have accepted another set, or I could have done X, Y, and Z, but that never because I leave that behind me before I walk onto the set.
Yeah. You have to. You have to make the most out of every set that you're on.
Yeah.
And there's so many people that you affect, right? So
yes, 100%. Because I've had those bad days too, where I just like, I get into a fight with my mom or something, or like I was on the phone with my sister and I'm just, I'm just out of it. And I go on set and sometimes I'm just going to have just a sour mood, and it reads to everybody too. So when it reads to everybody, then the cards are stacked against you. You have to now choose whether or not you want to double down and just be an asshole for the rest of the set, or take a step back for 5 minutes, breathe and just reconsider and move on. And that's the best way you can possibly do it. And it took me about like 70,000 sets to figure that out. But nevertheless, it's still a process, and there's still a laundry list of shit that I definitely am like completely unaware of that I probably should be fixing, and I just can't think of it right now. But yeah, I definitely love those bad sets.
You learn a lot. You learn to appreciate all the good sets. So it's all downhill from here, Shaylah.
Yeah, Shaylah.
You have the ultimate set. A fantastic set. And now you're going to really appreciate it.
It is what it is, cuz. Yeah.
It's reeled me in.
Yes. Because not all sets are like the one that we were on, that's for sure.
No, but you still, for better or for worse, you still have your own experience. Just because my first set wasn't the best for Christine doesn't mean that
it doesn't mean it wasn't the best for somebody else. Exactly.
And it was the best for me. It was one of the best. And I got to meet Christine and probably some of the dopest Austin camera people, art department people. I met Kellie, and Kellie took me under her wing and taught me art department and stuff. And I Shaylah
totally like funny in love. Started to really like art department too.
It's fun. Yeah. It's a lot of fun. And here's the thing, like I watch movies 100% differently now that I've worked in the art department for roughly a year. I can definitely say that like it definitely changed my point of view when it comes to a movie. Especially I learned to appreciate the shitty movies too, because movies are just hard to make in general.
Yeah, Jesus, movies are just hard to make in general. It's absolutely correct.
It's just like sometimes if I see a bad movie, it's like making movies hard. It is what it is. Yeah. But anyway, so when I did art department, I kind of watched movies a little differently. Like I have this complete different appreciation for every department, even cinematography. Like the DP, I definitely, and I watch the credits now after
I watched the credits.
Oh my gosh, yes, that's so funny that you said that, because I watched a movie and it was a pretty good movie on Netflix that just recently came out.
Yeah,
and I remember literally after the movie was done, sitting there, and I wasn't reading the names of the people. I was reading the jobs, because I was just so curious now of like, okay, what all went into creating this film, now that I've kind of like seen this side of it. And I just sat there and like read what all the departments were and what all their specific titles were.
You finally understand what a key grip is after like 20, for me, after 20 years of not understanding. I'm like, what the fuck is a key grip? Do they hold keys? Like I was so confused.
All the doors.
Do they hold keys? I love that. That needs to be in our Get Reelisms version 2 book.
Listen, I was a fat child, watched Star Wars for the first time, and I'm just like, who's that? I didn't understand it, and it's great now that like after.
What is a job? That's so I'm curious. What is a job that you had no clue about, Shaylah?
Yeah.
For sure, I did not. We didn't experience it on this set, but I did not know what a Foley was. I thought that had to do with lights. I thought that maybe that was specifically a person who like had like the gobos, or like like the colored sheets, and would like bring them, and like they were in charge of these light sheets, and if you wanted to change the color of your bulb, you had to come to them, because only the Foley controlled the light sheets. That's what I thought it was.
Yeah,
Foley, the master of lights.
Yeah. What other? But you knew most the positions on this set, right?
Yes. I would say that I didn't know what people did. That was my biggest thing. Is that yes, I had heard of this job title, but I did not know what the responsibilities entailed until I actually saw it in action. Like, probably the biggest one was definitely your role, like an assistant director. Like in my head, I always just was like, "Oh,
Dude,
that's the
assistant director is the worst name you could possibly give this position." It's
yeah.
like
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
I say, like, you got to get in on this, Christine. Like, you got to like go to the assistant directors guild or something.
tell
and
them
be
to
like,
rename the
guys,
position.
let's change the name to Set
To-
Overlord.
Yeah, Overlord.
Yes,
Set Overlord. That's who you guys are. You're the Set Overlord. If the set is off schedule, you understand the first AD's job is to literally yell at everybody. It's to literally scream and be like, you guys are like, we're all late. And now we're going to be here way past our fucking time. And then like we get the beat down essentially. And we just sit there and we're just like, okay, yeah, let's keep working.
Yeah.
That's funny.
But not all the time.
Yeah, assistant director is like the worst name it could possibly
be. Yeah.
What did you think it was, Shaylah, before?
So I thought that like an assistant director was someone who is also directing. Like I thought that
that's what I thought too.
It sometimes happens that way, though. There is that, but that's when things are wrong.
And Christine's definitely done that.
I've definitely done that, but that shouldn't be happening.
It shouldn't.
If there's a good director, that shouldn't be happening. So
but sometimes, Christine, there's some you just can't quite get it together, you know?
Yep. Yeah. No. So yes. So that's a. To be fair, that sometimes does happen with this position, but that's only when it's because you don't have a strong enough director. But this luckily was not the case. Yeah, but like no, the other part people don't realize like any of the other things. Yeah. What else was something you didn't know that you were like, oh?
I had no idea what a second assistant director did. Like zero idea.
Yeah.
I was just like, that's a person who's at the top of the credit list.
Yeah. I did have some sort of an idea that the second AD does help out the first AD, but that's as far as what my knowledge is.
Right.
Like,
right.
I know you help them out. I don't know if you get them coffee or something, or what's a production assistant then? What do they do? And then you do it and you're like, oh.
Everything.
I'm holding stuff. I'm trying to balance, and someone's yelling at me, go left, and when I'm supposed to go right, even though I'm supposed to go right, when I'm actually supposed to go left. You know, it's definitely but I don't know. Like since there's definitely those sets where you're gonna feel like you want to rip your hair out. There's definitely those moments where you sort of look at another department and you're like, oh fuck, they have it worse. They have it worse. Like I've definitely been on those sets where it's like hair and makeup. Like I have a respect for each and every department, but the last set I've worked on, this poor hair and makeup had to like book it double time in a room with no air conditioning. It was like dead heat of summer in Blanco, Texas. And this makeup artist was just like, because I know if I was her, I would probably have a heat stroke, 1, and 2, I would probably start yelling at people, you know, but like she had the biggest smile on her face the entire time. And it's definitely one of those like inspiring moments where it's just like, oh yeah, it's not that big of a deal. You just, you just keep going through it, because there's definitely other hair and makeup artists who are like, well, fuck that. I'll take the job, you know? And so you just sort of think about that and you're like, yeah. I'm going to shape up my act. But yet again, you do have those other people. You're like, how did you get this job?
I think that's everywhere in life, but yes.
Very true.
Everywhere in life.
Yes. So
like
what are 3 things that you would now teach? Because it's always good once you start to learn the ropes to keep passing on teaching new people. So
yeah, because this is a different Shaylah preset versus post set, you know?
Yeah, so post set, newbie, now you are a pro.
So you're a pro. Yeah. So you got the keys to the kingdom.
What would you teach the next person? Besides obviously being nice. but something more technical.
I don't know. Being nice is important too.
It is extremely important. Sadly, it's very difficult for some people.
It's really difficult.
Harder than harder than people think it is.
Yeah.
So I would say that the first thing to me is to pay attention and listen. And I don't mean that in just the fashion of listen to the instructions that are being given to you. I also mean in the fashion of, even if you're not doing anything and no one is speaking to you directly, to listen to what other people are talking about, because you never know when the moment arises that you can fill a need for someone who, for example, like we're saying, like Christine maybe doesn't know that she can ask you, like, because not everyone knows everyone's skill sets. But if I'm paying attention to the other people and what they're doing, I may hear someone say, "Where's my red folder?" And I'm like, "I saw the red folder in the bathroom." And like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Something it can be as simple as that, but it can always be very broader. Like I need this extra set of hands to help me put up this sheetrock, and we're gonna have to do it 7 times. And that was me. I was like, I can do that. And then once I was there, it was, okay, I need you to take this roll of wallpaper and go cut it into strips that are 3 feet long, and I need you to put tape on the back of them. And I was like, okay, copy. And I ran off and went and did it. And so, like, I think that is that. Pay attention to what people around you are saying, because you never know what you'll hear, what you'll learn, etc. The next thing I would say is, don't be afraid to ask someone if they need help and or give them the help. Like, if you can literally see that someone is struggling with something, of course, jump in and help them. Like, maybe they're lifting up something heavy, or maybe they're having to move 5 different briefcases of lenses and they only have 2 hands. You know what I mean? Like, you can assess, oh, this person needs help at this very moment. Or you can assess, hey, what can I do for you right now? Oh, I need you to go grab me a sandbag. Oh, and and people will see, oh, there's someone here who can help me. Let me utilize that.
Ask them.
Versus waiting. Oh, I'm a PA and I only do what I'm told to do. Well, of course, but your cog in the machine is to go fill your need in the machine. And sometimes, the machine isn't going to come to you and say, I need a cog. You know what I mean? And so you have to go. So I would say proactive. And then I would definitely say third thing, but also top thing, like Christine has said, gratefulness. Like, your manners on set, like Christine is saying, will resonate with people on how they will remember you. Like, it's always a copy that, thank you, you're welcome, yes please, no thank you. Like, because everyone is always going to be stressed out with what they're doing, and everyone is always going to show that stress in different ways. And so keeping kind of steady in how you are with people can be something that's very reliable. I feel like I will reliably always have a smile on my face and do whatever you tell me to do, even if I may not want to necessarily do it. Like, maybe I don't want to pick up this 50-pound lens case, but I'm going to do it. And I'm going to do it with a smile on my face. And when I'm done, I'm going to say, do you need anything else? No? Okay. Let me know if you do. And so I feel like it's politeness. I don't know. Like, I don't know. Keep your attitude up, and gratefulness. Like I am so grateful to Christine. This is just a little side bit, that I am so grateful that our lives came together so that she could give me this opportunity to be here on that set and meet everyone that I did. And even though I didn't get to speak to her directly a lot, the best thing was to see her. The best thing was to watch her do her magic, and to watch, as you said, the conductor with, her 50 other hats, keep everything moving forward. And so I am so just overjoyed. I'm overjoyed that I got to meet you, Christine, and to just be in your presence of being on the set together. It was all fantastic and amazing.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I appreciate that a lot. I always, especially with women, I really want to make sure that people get opportunities. And I know it's harder, unfortunately, for females in this industry. And so I try to bring people, you know, I love making films. I love what we do. And I think it's great to be able to spread that, you know, and give people that opportunity. I hate when people are gatekeepers and think that, like, hey, if I, you know, introduce some person, they might take my job. Like, sure, that's totally possible, but like, I don't think you should think of it that way, you know? Yeah. So I think it's we're all trying to fulfill a dream and a passion, and we all want to learn and make stuff. And when we bring one person up, it brings up everybody else. So
yes, exactly. If there are more of us, we can if there's more of us, we can be stronger together.
Yes, I'm pretty sure Optimus Prime said that along with Autobots Roll Out. No, but it's a good quote though. It's great. And I'm talking about the OG cartoon, not the fucking Michael Bay. Let's come on. Let's not be ridiculous.
I love it. Love that.
But yeah, you're right though. Like with everything combined, like it's a together.
With our powers combined.
Powers combined.
Yeah.
You can be She-Ra. Yeah. So the workmanship with a film set, that's why, like, I don't know if you ever worked in like the food industry or retail, Shaylah. You have
both, yes.
Okay, so this is why let me explain. So when you have that kind of workmanship or that team aspect that you bring in, you can learn that and you can train it. Some people have it and there's some people who don't have it, but you can sort of work that muscle because I worked in retail for damn near 10 years before I came into the film industry. And to work that long, you sort of, because before retail, I was antisocial. Like, you couldn't talk to me. I was just with my comic books in high school and I just fucked off to nowhere land, you know? Like, I leave me be. And retail sort of taught me the way of just like communicating to people and understanding social cues and understanding the atmosphere and understanding, like, you know, when to budge and what not to budge and stuff like that. You learn a lot about life, really, working in any industry, truly. But when you bring your experiences inside the film industry, you already have that teamwork, atmosphere with you, Shaylah. So you already understand that you're ready to work with people, not against them. Just like I do. And just like Christine, a lot of people do. Like, we just have that notion in our heads where we're just going to be at the best and not in the way as possibly can, you know, and you thrive. That's all it takes. And to show that true teamwork, I mean, because you're definitely going to run into those people who just doesn't want to talk to you. And you sort of learn and you're like, oh, okay, you know. But for me, like, I'm persistent as fuck. I will come back to you 3 days later and just be like, hey, I got your Reese's peanut butter cup. You want to be my friend?
Yes, see, you were paying attention, right, to things that they talked about and things that they liked. And so you were able to use that.
And, you know, it's simple because it doesn't take much to listen. But all we do is only hear, like you said, the instructions and that's it. When you actually need to listen and pay attention to everything and jump in when you know you got to jump in too. So we have been going for a solid hour. So I was thinking we can wrap up with one more, unless you got something, Christine.
Oh, no, that's perfect. I was going to say, for anybody who's listening.
Oh, promo.
We have a code. Yes. So if you use podcast, which is very easy code, podcast, you can get $5 off anything on the getrealisms.com store. So
play. That's what I'm talking about, ladies and gentlemen.
Consider that, because it again, it's a tool. It's stuff that I don't know. Shaylah, you found it useful, right?
Yes, I read it in one sitting, and then I was like, "Holy crap! So much makes sense to me now."
That was what it was meant to be. Yeah.
I sort of wish it was in high school. You know what I mean? Like, I wish these books were like in school, like, or middle school, because I already had a huge interest in filmmaking when I was like 5 years old, making backyard videos and stuff. Yes. So like to have like a book like this, pretty bitchin', dude. It's great. You get that knowledge and you walk in like a pro, dude.
You're like, give me that apple box. Give me those sticks. No, I don't want baby legs.
Yeah, I don't want no baby legs.
It's awesome. It was very awesome.
Sweet dead cat, bro.
Yes, I said that. That was one of the first things when our first day outside. I walked up to our sound person and I was like, "Hey man, did you kill that cat yourself?" And he was like, "Nah, I found it this way."
I found it this way. They get you too, and that's great because they'll do a yes and they'll understand you for sure. That's the best. Thank you so much, Shaylah. We appreciate you.
I hope that was a good kind of a deep, because you had mentioned we never really had time to chat on set or to kind of debrief and about learning experience and stuff, so I kind of wanted to kill two birds with one stone a little bit.
Right? Yeah, this definitely was. Yeah, but I mean, it's because our time to breathe, we were sleeping.
I know.
I kept telling people that. Like, my parents got mad and called them, and then like I was like, "Do you understand that? Like, when we have time, I'm sleeping. If I'm not sleeping, then I am like doing something."
Yeah, my parents get real jealous when I just like reduce the amount of tension. Like, I just forget to call my dad, and I just forget to like hang out with my mom and stuff. And there's like, what happened?
I just like ignore all calls almost, like unless it's like a film set thing. The only time I answer is just like, "All right, go for Christine. Like, what's wrong? Like, what happened? Who died? You know, like, did something like break? You know?" So yeah,
yes.
Because the film, like, people really don't understand, and it's so hard to explain, but being on set requires your 100% attention at all times, no matter what, especially if you're a first AD. Holy shit.
Oh yeah. Yes yeah.
PA, at least we can like fuck off from maybe like while they're filming, like
I was so jealous though. Like, there was times I would come out of the hall and be like, "I just want to just stand in the hallway and hang out."
Yes.
Yeah.
I'll sit there for 1 minute and be like, "All right, I gotta go back in."
Yeah. That's because Christine was running the show though. Like, she was keeping them boys moving. She was like, "All right, gentlemen, let's go. Next thing."
Talking, and no more
I was just watching her. Yes. And I was like, "Yes, queen, we'll be out here."
That's right. Christine definitely yelled at me for talking before too.
Yeah.
Actually, well, here's the thing. Like, in Christine's defense, I didn't understand we were rolling because no one called it. So Christine was like yards away, and they already called rolling, and I didn't hear anything in the walkie. So I was just like shooting this shit with Kellie, just talking to her, just be like, "Yeah, this is crazy in politics nowadays." And I would have these loud conversations, and Christine's like, "Adam, we can hear everything you're saying." And I'm like, "What the fuck? Why didn't anybody tell me?"
Like, I did through the walkie.
It's like, I did, but I mumbled through the walkie-talkie because I don't know how to use the mouthpiece on a walkie-talkie.
That's not true. Everybody can hear. It's the quality of the walkie.
This is it's like literally it's like, "Hey, Christine, like I'm trying to get an update for this next scene." And she'd be like, "It's gonna be another 20 minutes." It's like, and I asked her, "I didn't catch a word you said, Christine," and I had to do that, Shaylah, maybe about 6 times.
It's the quality of the walkie. It is the quality of the walkie.
And also, I have tinnitus. So I have a really, really tough time trying to, because it's like hearing a whisper from a butterfly with Christine. Like, I can't hear her. Like, she's just like, and then when she does yell, then she hates me for like an hour. She's like, I'm screaming at you and you still don't understand it. And I'm like, because you're whispering. I can't understand you. But I love you, Christine. No, you've done much better.
The quality of the walkie.
And we've gotten better quality walkies.
Yes.
Because
the ones that were on our set were good.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I was going to say, the set in Shreveport, that was spick and span. We knew what the fuck we were doing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But any other set, you know, those shitty walkies.
This other set we were on, Carly and I would tell you horror stories about the walkies. It was the set right before this one. Nobody could hear anything that anybody was saying because the walkie stuff's so bad. Yeah.
Oh, man.
It was so bad.
Yeah. That was something that I didn't realize but should have realized happens, is that you use walkies. And I was like, man, this is brilliant.
I know. You sort of realize it like way too late, and you're just like, wow, fucking genius. Who came up with this?
Yeah, I was like, oh my god, this is so useful.
And then you get like an experienced seasoned PA to look at you like, are you stupid or something? Like, what? Why are you so excited about
I would agree with you on that, because it becomes a thing where you just expect to have on set, but then when you go on a set with no walkies or like really terrible walkies,
I have to have. I've been on sets without a walkie. Nightmare.
Yeah. It's terrible. Like when you're on a set and there are no walkies or they don't work. Like,
oh my god,
like the worst.
Then you have to tell Christine 9 times. What does she say?
Yeah.
And then you can hear Christine screaming into your walkie. And also outside of set, too, because she's literally blood-curdling screaming. It's like, hey, I made Christine upset. And I remember looking at Kelly, and Kelly's like, yeah, Christine's mad. I'm like, I'm sorry. I didn't. Okay, well, I think we're out of podcast, you guys.
All right.
Facebook, thank you so much for joining us. That has been Get Reelisms podcast. Thank you guys so much. Let's do this again next week. Sorry we weren't here last week. We tried.
That was my fault.
No, it's not.
I was really tired. Let's just say we had an epic rap party, and then everybody didn't go to sleep till like noon.
Yes.
Honestly though, like, because I was working too, and I didn't realize until it was like Saturday night it was like Saturday night, like the day before we were supposed to record. And I was like, oh, are we still doing podcasts? And she's like,
I'm like barely awake.
No, but I completely understand. But this is I like this version of Christine, because like 15-hour Christine is different than well-rested Christine.
Oh yeah, you saw me. I would like be staring at you, smiling, but I had no clue what you said.
Literally, Shaylah, I was talking in circles for like 30 minutes. For like a good solid half an hour, I was talking in circles, and she was just like, and I'm like, you didn't listen to a word I said. And she was like, no, I did. You said, yeah. You said that. And I'm like, what?
Oh, no. I don't doubt it. Especially on a Sunday. Sunday was like our, okay, everyone go die, and we'll see you Monday.
Yeah.
That's what Sunday was for everyone. It was, all right,
coma and wake up.
Yes, go hit the reset button real hard, and then we'll see you Monday.
Pretty much.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's it for Get Reelisms podcast. Bye, Facebook.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you. Bye.